Right. Hello, Aries, and welcome to your monthly forecast. How's everybody doing today? Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. It's good to have you here. Again, this is your monthly forecast. We're going to be taking a look at next month. All of the May readings are already up. This is going to be for the month of June. So make sure you check out both. It's good to have you. All right. So we're going to be looking at the next 6 to 8 weeks together, and the format is as follows. We'll begin with the channel messages, and then we'll get into the Celtic Cross, and there's a lot more to come after that. The channeled messages this morning started very early, and I really love the sort of overall tone of it. It's about returning to sort of like a playful energy. I see a cycle that's ending. I see some opportunities in front of you. So let's dig straight into the presentation and we'll get started. All right, so again, this is where the reading begins. This is where we talk about basically what comes through guides, visions, and dreams for me, for you. And a roller coaster is actually what totemically came through. I saw this sort of image of a person riding up and down. There's a karmic lesson, which it feels like you're on the precipice of finishing. And I also saw wet paint, but with this, the feeling that there's something that also is really great to celebrate. You're on the precipice of finishing something exciting. Let's talk about the roller coaster. This even helped me this morning as I was framing up some life experiences. So in dreams, the roller coaster to me indicated life, right? We keep coming back to this life. There's ups, there's downs, there's in-betweens. At the very end of the roller coaster ride, I heard this little spirit felt more like a child to me, and it was like, let's do it again. You know, like when you're riding with a kid, they're like, come on, mom, come on, dad, let's do this one more time. So one more time. That's actually what our soul says almost every time it comes back here. We think as a human, we're done with this. I'm going to another planet. I'm going to heaven. I'm going to go into nirvana state. I'm done. But the child within knows that there's always one more lesson, one more time, one more ride. So today, the challenge is to try to find the joy in the in-between, the understanding when you're in the valleys, the celebration when you're in the peaks, and not sort of take any part of the ride for granted, because overall, it kind of is what makes it not necessarily fun, but it's what makes it worthwhile. So the one more time that I got was really from the inner child, and there's any number of cards that I could have chosen here, including the Fool, the Six of Cups, or the Sun, baby cards basically. And it basically said, let's just go for it. Let's not hold on to things so much. And when you think of children or even pets, what really helps with having them in your life is that you can see like a tantrum. If you have a 2-year-old, they'll go through the whole gamut of emotions. They're happy, and then they're angry, and then they, stomp their feet on the ground, and then they're just peaceful as anything. They can kind of like really go through the roller coaster, and you take it with them, but then they're okay. They don't hold on to it. As adults, we internalize, we think about it, we project, and there is something to be said for just like having a little cry if you need to, having a laugh, kind of processing it properly. And so moving the energy, and the Fool is a great metaphor for that, one step at a time, going out and taking a walk. Today is kind of a dreary but kind of drizzly day in LA, but Apollo still likes it, and I kind of like it. You still have to get out and just sort of like keep moving, keep transitioning through the energy. This part was what really helped me as well. So we keep doing this, we keep coming back. The little kid within is basically saying, try to have some fun. You've been through probably a lot better and a lot worse. This is probably somewhere in the middle. And if you can trust that you've done it before and you can do it again, then you can start to take some calculated risks. Then you can take yourself a little less seriously and not feel like there's so much pressure. And that's when the fun of co-creating, of manifestation starts to come in. And it's a nice segue into the next one, which is you are the magician. So the next scene of my dreams was someone pulling back a curtain, and basically very Wizard of Oz energy there. And there was a lesson, there was a reveal, there was something behind that curtain that was worth seeing, but there's also you as the magician behind the curtain. So it's time to rediscover your power and take some steps and some initiative here. I'm doing this reading on the 1st of the month, so this is a great time to put into action a plan and to really start to put your energy behind that as we start to progress through things, okay? Then I saw the wet paint. So the wet paint here is basically, to me, indicative of 3 of Pentacles energy, which is saying you're finishing up something. We can even see in the Three of Pentacles here that the person hasn't quite completed what they're working on. Finishing touches, right? There's some people coming in, weighing in, again, possibly giving some really good feedback. Don't rush. Don't sort of like get into your headspace too much if someone hasn't given you the feedback. Basically just focus on the magic of creation, also just doing something that you're really excited about. And in general, in life, the older you get, the more you sort of understand that you're never going to make everybody happy. It's important to just do what feels right and give it the best go the first time around. All right, so let's quickly look at these, and then we're going to move on to today's forecast. Okay, so again, roller coaster, ups, downs, in-betweens, try to have some fun. Karmic lesson is at hand. Once you start to focus on this ability to move forward and the ability to own your sort of energy, you're going to see some of that. We'll look at it in the cards today. And then again, not rushing something that isn't completed just yet. Someone's asking for a review. No, you can actually watch. They're all on the main channel. We're going to focus on June. And I can't do 12 reviews every time I do it. So they're all out there. And I also do a daily card read too. So there's plenty of options, but we're going to be focusing on the next 6 to 8 weeks. We're going to do that together. And it's so good to have all of you here today. Thank you for taking some time out of your schedules. And I'm happy to have you with me. Okay. Also, by the way, I did that. I can't remember what I said a month ago. I do 50 videos per month. That's why I can't give you that recap, but it's already there and you can see it if you need it. All right, let's get started, folks, and see where we're at as Apollo digs in. We're going to dig into the month as well. All right. Pulled out an older deck here that I haven't used in a while. I love this one. Let's see what's going on here. Had an Ace of Pentacles come through as our daily card read today. Here's our Three of Pentacles. So far, so good. I like what I'm seeing. Two of Pentacles. You got them all right there. There's some choices at hand. Good boss energy with the Queen of Wands. Good opportunities with the Two of Wands. Needing to say no. We got two cards coming together. A change, could be new relationship coming in for some of you as well, or a change in partnership. All right, let's go ahead now and expand this and see what else is going on, and then we'll get started. Yeah, you got choices this month, I have to say, Aries. Lots of choices. I'll help you navigate them as we're looking here. And then we'll pull up Apollo for a little hello since he's getting himself comfortable in the bed behind us. Ooh, I love that the parrot's coming through. All right. Hey, Apollo. What's going on? Want to say hi to everybody? Let's just say hi to the folks here. So sometimes Apollo is willing and ready to say hello. I only bring him up if he's kind of rambunctious like he was. Thanks, buddy. All right, here's a toy. And I'll play with you after the reading. Most of it is he just wants my attention. Those of you that have kids and pets, you know how it goes. Let's focus on your catalyst. We have Pomona coming in, which is showing us the energy of basically abundance, plenty. And we see that here, holding a horn of plenty, it looks like. So the card is in reverse, and it's really an encouragement for you to move away from a feeling like, I can't have this, it won't happen, I never get what I want. All of these sort of limiting thoughts, which are tantamount to devil energy, basically putting limits on something before it happens. Pomona is coming through and saying, actually, it's the reverse. This is very close to like Queen of Pentacles energy, or the Empress, like fertility, abundance, and the ability to manifest and develop and nurture that. So that's what is coming through is a big sort of like energetic wave of divine feminine energy. And she's saying, don't hold back and don't limit. Don't look at what has been in the past and think that's all that can ever be. The universe and your sort of soul constantly moving and growing. This is a time for plenty to come into your life, bounty to come into your life. What a beautiful way to start the reading. Let's take a quick scan of the Celtic Cross in front of us, again, next 6 to 8 weeks. And let's see what this has in store for you. So I already saw some high-level things. I think the main thing is change for the better. So there's a hidden change or some unexpected change, but it is for the better. And there are some important decisions for you to make. Because the Tower is modified by the Knight of Cups, I actually feel pretty excited or optimistic about the change here. Okay, let's take it one by one. I see some people there saying that they're overwhelmed. Don't be overwhelmed yet. We haven't even looked at the cards like one by one. So take a deep breath. Remember, ups and downs, roller coasters, and we're going to look at all of this stuff. So for the person asking for a recap earlier, we get a little bit of it here because this is showing where we're going to be headed in a month. So you get a little mini recap there, and then you can listen to the rest of that reading. The first thing is making and breaking cycles is the first message. So the card was reversed, but we have a lovely illustration here on the Eight of Cups. And there's always a question, are you coming, are you going? Do you want to stay with this, or do you want to let it go? Typically in the Eight of Cups, you would see one missing, and it's basically leaving room for you to come back if you want to. Here's some cool things to think about with this, because we're going to jump forward at opportunities. So this is your center card crossed by this one. But these two cards work in tandem. So this is saying, I might want to say no or step away from something, but I might want to leave the door open. You can do that when these two are paired up with each other. So in the case of business, this can be equated to like, a sabbatical. It could also mean that if someone's furloughed or if you walk away from a relationship, that there's still interest, there's still the ability to come back. So sometimes it's good if you want that option to reconnect. Sometimes it's not favorable if you need to make a clean start. So if there's someone in your life and it's a negative influence, you want to have stronger boundaries, say no and mean it. And then that breaks this sort of cyclical on-off sort of thing. It can also be sometimes toxic in a relationship when it's sort of like you get together, it's amazing, then you break up and it's heartbreaking, and then it's like rinse and repeat. So in this case, the roller coaster of the Eight of Cups is not favorable. So you want to decide, do you like to have the door open, or is it time to shut and close some sort of a case in your life? All right, what's crossing the card? This is what Pomona came through to teach us, Five of Pentacles. This is not plentiful. This is not bountiful. This is the antithesis of that. And so basically, Five of Pentacles typically comes because we lacked the support that we needed in the past. Oftentimes, a parent couldn't be the parent that we needed. A teacher wasn't looking out for us. A friend let us down. Or we had a bar of excellence that was so high that there was no way that we could do it. And so this is a chance to heal the inner child that came through that's like, let's try it one more time. And you can do it. Another thing to realize when you look at the traditional illustration is you have two wounded people. Of course, they're not going to do a great job at healing each other. Sometimes the parent that let us down was wounded themselves. Sometimes the teacher didn't have good guidance or teaching themselves. Sometimes the friend is going through something. So typically Five of Pentacles comes because of a wounded counterpart. Heal yourself, let them heal themselves, focus on moving forward. This isn't enough. So if somebody is coming through, particularly when it's, let's say if you're working for somebody and they're not paying you enough, if you are putting a lot of energy in a relationship and the other party just kind of consistently is not giving you what you're putting in, basically this is a chance to say, this is what, first of all, this isn't enough, I need more, and this is why. Kind of just articulate your need, articulate your desire, okay? Let's go into the deep past. I'm gonna adjust my AC because it always gets a little warm when I do the reading, and then we'll look at the Six of Wands, which is auspicious, by the way. All right, hopefully that kicks in. Let me see. There we go. So, looking in the deep past, one of the lessons here is you've done what it takes to be successful, but there could be a lens on focusing so much on receiving that validation. These two cards are absolutely related. Let's look at the traditional illustration because I think it tells a little better story here. So, this is not getting what you need. This is seeking it through other sources. work, school, organizations, sometimes even dressing the part, looking the part. So having other people come in to validate something that wasn't there in the past. So this card is coming through to just give you the validation that you need. Already, as is, you are more than enough. For yourself, for the universe, for whatever it is. Whatever you do from this point forward, make sure that it's because you want to do it. Because you seek that for just your own fulfillment, not for external validation. It's nice to have, but it's not need to have. And that's what the Six of Wands reverse reminds you. You can achieve. I'm not questioning that at all. But do you need to achieve where you have been achieving? That's the sort of question from the universe, if that makes sense. Okay, now let's take a look at what is coming through. So we've already seen, so again, for that person that needed the review, those are your key pivotal things to focus on. In every reading, you kind of get a mini review. Now let's look at the recent past, and because I'm reading in advance, this may actually be happening right now as you're watching this reading. And it's nicely connected with today's card. So you can also watch my one card pull for today to get some additional insight on the Ace of Pentacles. But I got this for May 1st when I'm doing the live. And this is basically a question for you. I'll repeat a little bit of what I said in the daily reading, which is, how invested are you? Are you ready? Remember, every ace, cups, wands, swords, and pentacles, represents an idea, an opportunity, something from the universe where it's reaching out. Let me see if I still have it here because I read with it. Yeah. Okay. Your traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card does a better job because we see the hand there. And it's basically saying, is this what you want? Is this what you've worked so hard for? And you get to answer in your head, yeah, this is. I also mentioned that with an ace, time is one of those resources. It's not just money, it's also time and energy. If this isn't serving the higher purpose, you can move on. We have a portal in the traditional card. So there's a lot of things to consider. If you've never watched my readings, I'll often use different decks for clarification. But yeah, basically there's a lot of things to consider. The good news in this one is we can see growth is what is being offered from the universe right now. So if you're ready to grow, and if you know where you want to grow, then some good things can be coming through. This is super interesting to see Ace of Pentacles and Knight of Cups. This can be an offer in relationship. Also, if you watch my channel, you know that I do not focus solely on love. It's not going to be your person unless your person shows up in the spread. And guess what? I'm seeing a person coming through. So there could be someone that's interested in you. We're going to look at them in greater depth when I go into relationships. It's a little discombobulated here. This person could be moving into your life. You could be moving somewhere and meeting them. There could also be a breakup or shakeup in the relationship. This could also be a proposal because it changes the status in a positive way. And that's what we're seeing with a hidden tower, an ace, and a Knight of Cups. So we're seeing a change, but do you want it? That's why I'm focusing on it again, because the ace and the Justice card here reversed means an offer that may not be what you need. So don't say yes unless you mean it. And that's also what the Ace of Pentacles is reminding you. Thank you so much for those that are providing super stickers. I do appreciate it. It does help the channel. You can follow me on social media as well and give me a like and subscribe if you'd like to. I do appreciate the fan support. All right, let's focus now on the top card here. We have the Three of Pentacles in reverse. And this is very similar to what we were talking about with the Ace of, not with the Ace, but the Six of Wands. So we see someone here working their magic. I love the cat in the background. I also really love that this person is focusing. They've read something and they're thinking like, how does this sit with me? We saw that traditional card in my presentation, which I'm going to pull up real quickly here. What I was mentioning with that was also, it was connected with like the wet paint message, if I remember correctly. And I said that, you know, you don't want to rush to the finish line on something. So there's your traditional illustration where they're going and putting the finishing touches. Here's someone that's kind of deep in contemplation, and they're also trying to think like, is this done? How do I feel about this? So never rush to the finish line, and realize again, everyone has an opinion. So take it with, you know, a grain of salt, make sure it's constructive, make sure that it's helping you go further on your sort of course here. So this can also represent college, training, knowledge expansion, but usually in a more sort of dedicated way than even the Eight of Pentacles. And there's less to do. It's maybe just a class or two. You're close to graduation here. I feel like you're very close to completing something that you want to complete. These 3 pentacle cards are showing 3 different things. This one was asking you, is this enough? Is this what you want? Is this enough? Really, we want to put this and make it a 6, and so that you have more balance in your life. So if you don't have enough, fight for it, because it looks like you already have that resource floating around. And again, we're looking at the traditional ace. Sometimes it's just about, it's just about reaching out and saying, hey, I need a little bit more. This can be a hand outstretched. Let's see here. This is about finishing what you've started, paying attention to the details, and again, not needing or wanting just validation, doing something because it feels right. Now we have also a hidden ace. This can be freeing up your resources by making a choice. So 2 of Pentacles basically is a lot more decision oriented than the 6 of Pentacles. In the 6, we have someone that has a lot of coins. They have at least 2 hands that are outstretched in front of them. They give a few here and they may not give it there. They try to balance out need versus want and also making sure that they have enough. In the 2, there's a choice at hand. You have to pick one. You can't keep juggling. You might be, your work-life balance may be out of whack. There could be too much energy going into something and it's exhausting you. And the sooner you pick an ace, one of those 2 aces, and put your energy behind that, the sooner you're going to see a breakthrough, the sooner you're going to get your energy back, and you're going to have more vitality, more excitement. And so here the thing is, where do you feel the best connection, the best spark within? It's going to require saying no or not yet to something so that you can really find your proper balance. The cool thing on this one is we see a ship in the background. This could be ostensibly connected to that Cups card that's coming in. It could be like the 3 of Wands. We see movement, but the person's facing the wrong direction. They can't see the ship coming in. And so once they let go of one of these things, focus on that one ace, they might be able to turn around and see the opportunity that happens to be knocking. All right, you're showing up with amazing boss energy this month, and I love it. Queen of Wands, one of the best cards, if not the best, for managing. Queen and King of Wands, pretty equal. I like Queen a little better because she has a little bit more magic and charm to her than the King, who can be a little bossy. When she's upright, she's pretty amazing. So this month, see the sunflowers, which is showing abundance. There's always a cat, usually a black cat on there, which shows magic, intuition, and the ability to land on your feet. And she's usually in a desert, but there's still that sunflower and growth. So she can take something that's lacking and make it more. So you can do all of these things this month. You have the ability to stretch a penny. You have especially if you kind of decide certain things aren't worth your time and energy, you have the ability to lead and inspire others. And people are going to listen more than they normally would. She's a pretty convincing leader. Of all the different queens, you listen to the Queen of Wands. And the other thing is, she shows up and she leads by example. Queen of Swords is going to say it in a way that's kind of compelling. Queen of Pentacles, she's going to entice you with some resources. She's going to impress you with her business acumen. And what did I miss? Queen of Swords, Queen of Cups. She's just really creative and fun to be around. But the Queen of Wands, she can hold court. She can get things done. And she also just enters the room with this sort of posture and this confidence. So working on self-confidence and believing in yourself is going to be so important this month to success across the board. Okay? Now we have the Two of Wands here. And this is now shifting. Once you've decided yes or no, once you've finished what you've started, and once you've found a little more balance, then you can focus on what it is you're trying to do. And without the Two of Wands, it's very hard to call in Magician or High Priestess energy, or at least to have them be effective. This one is saying, I've read sort of the room, I've looked at what's going on around me, I know what I want, I know what they want, I know what's also trending or what's popular, and I'm going to figure out how to make this work. So these are also highly compatible cards. Vision and leadership. The card is in reverse. Don't doubt your ability to see something. Let's not use double negatives. I would say trust your instincts is a better way to state that. Look in different directions. Try different things. Don't just rinse and repeat, because the roller coaster ride is fun, but also to that inner child, what I would say is, how about we try the merry-go-round, or how about we try this instead? It's about also tasting and trying everything else that's around you, not just the same cycle again and again. Because the Eight of Cups in the middle is just that roller coaster. You don't want to be stuck on it. That actually sounds like something from Dante's Inferno. It's just being stuck on a roller coaster, never ending. You can get on different rides. You can try different things. And that's basically what the Two of Wands is suggesting, okay? The most powerful, possibly one of the most important cards here comes through in Hope Spheres and your opportunity space. The Justice card in reverse is super empowered because it carries with it the ability to create balance. It's the second balance card. You've got one here, one here. It's fair. It's also very concise. So there's no more concise word in the English language, or even in like Spanish and other ones, than just saying no, right? It's so clear. No, that's not what I want. No, this isn't going to work. You can articulate beyond that, but at its core, Justice Reverse is saying no, or not enough, or not yet. And if you want to kind of like raise the frequency, you can say, if we do this, then yes, but if not, then no. So somehow you have to indicate that there needs to be more. Or you can say, this is unfair, this is not legal, this is not balanced, this is what we must do in order to reach an agreement. Negotiate. You can negotiate. Use facts, figures, and law to help you, and stick to those things. Emotion will not help a great deal here. You can try to get someone, you can try to appeal to their common senses, but you may be dealing with someone who just needs to deal with facts and figures. So this is a time to do that. And that was something that I even pulled for today's one card, 1 minute poll, which was Ace of Pentacles again. And it's saying stick to facts and figures, and you got it in your read as well. All right, now let's take a look at your outcome cards. You got 2, they stuck together. So in the outcome here, we have the Tower beneath the Knight of Cups. So the Knight of Cups is pretty auspicious here. This is some good news. This can be love. This can be an opportunity that you've been waiting, possibly working really hard for. And it comes on the heels of something that could be a little discombobulating. So, you know, someone said that the energy's been tough. I can see that. But it's worth the ride. It looks like whatever change had to happen, whatever dust might be settling, there is a silver lining. But we have to deal with the Tower first. So a Tower reversed underneath it, if we're looking at life lessons and opportunities, it's saying, I want to get ahead of something. I don't want to wait for someone to come to me. I don't want to be the person that's caught at the 11th hour having to jump out of the tower. I want to be aware of this and plan way in advance. I want to do my homework. So it's a really good month for planning and preparation. If you see a change coming, get ahead of it. If there's something that you don't like, speak up and say, this doesn't work for me. Okay? This is about finding your balance and footing too, because the Tower can represent a lack of balance. Ultimately, we do have love, happiness, surprise, a good offer, a good opportunity on the horizon. So that's awesome, I should say. And it doesn't happen often when those 2 cards are kind of connected. Let's now expand this a little further and take a look now at health, wealth, love, and destiny, get a little more understanding of what's coming through, and prepare all of you for the opportunities ahead. We're going to start first with your health card. Health comprises mind, body, and spirit. The card is reversed. I really like that this is actually reversed because we have the parrot spirit here. And with the parrot spirit, it basically says, watch your words. But it also, to me, indicates that you have your own way of communicating and living. You're not going to mimic. So a parrot to me is like a mimic. There's one here on my block where someone walks with one on their shoulders, and it's a lovely bird, but they've only trained it to say one thing, which is hello, hello, and it keeps going up and down the street saying hello, and it's a little mind-numbing. So remember that you don't have to just repeat one. We're kind of seeing this. It's not a cycle of repetition. We want you to use your own words. You don't want to have to project your words into someone or something else. And the singular, unique, and compelling quality of you being different is what's important. Isn't it kind of cool that there's a paradox, or sort of like this, there's a better word for this, but it's kind of like an oxymoron, but They're so colorful and so bright and distinct, but part of what they do is mimic. So they stand out, but then they can mimic. So there's this weird paradox in a parrot. So for you, don't try to blend in, and don't try to repeat and just be a yes person. And if you're around people that are yes people, that can also be difficult if they're just in agreement when things aren't right. That's also something to pay attention to. I'm glad you enjoyed my parrot here. Like sometimes when I'm doing the one card reading, because it happens in the afternoon, that blessed bird is walking right past the window and I have to wait like 5 minutes for it to say hello 15 times. And the person goes up and down the block and I'm like, oh my God, teach it another word. I love birds. I used to have a bird as a kid. I wouldn't keep one now because I think they should be free, but I do love birds, just not with one word vocabularies. That would be my one caveat. And it's also telling you to change things up too when it comes to communicating. It might be good to say it in a different way. So the parrot is saying change. Ultimately, change is what's going to help you when it comes to health. And as that health card said, I'm not a doctor. So if there's anything that you need to do in your life with respect to your health and well-being, obviously talk to your health professional. Now let's look and see what the cards are indicating energetically. Okay, energetically, here's what's going on here. So this card and this card and actually these three, these are balance cards. So not just your work-life balance, but also for some of you, like me, you might have had an injury or two on your feet or ankles, which now I always wear shoes that have, you can't see that because this one, but I wear really thick heels on my tennis shoes so that I have a lot of support. And that's important. So make sure that you're wearing good support, that, sometimes when it's rainy weather, fashion doesn't matter, or if you have to wear like business shoes, if you're in a rainy climate, you'd probably do this anyway, but you have a pair of shoes for walking in the streets and then you carry another one in your backpack and you go to work and you change. So there's a time for fashion, there's a time for function. Make sure that you are taking care of yourself in that respect. So slippery streets or twisted ankles, things like that, they're avoidable. When the tower's here, it's avoidable. Just proper shoe wear. And if there's anything going on in your balance, obviously just go to a doctor and take care of that as well. Great time to start something new. 8 of Cups, if you want to begin something different with diet, exercise, or mental health, whatever you're trying to do to improve your overall well-being, this is good because it's a sticking card. Things are a little stickier. Same thing with this. You have a good chance of it being habitual in a good way. This is about circulation and movement as well. Again, working with a professional to make sure. This is about stretching before you exercise. So gentle movement, stretching, proper shoe wear or footwear is really, really important as well. Let's see if there's anything else. Research is going to be your best friend. So read up on things. The more you know, the better you can be. So this is important. And saying no to too many hours at work, too many bagels, whatever it is, basically finding the balance and saying no to yourself or saying no to others. And that's just about it there, okay? Overall, pretty good things when we're looking at health. Let's move on to wealth. This can hit at any part of your life. So if you're a student, it's what you're studying. Maybe it's how you're managing your money. If you're mid-career, it can indicate your career path. And if you're retired, it's how you spend your time and your money as well. So we're looking at, I would say, resource management is really what wealth is about. So you don't have to be working for this to apply. The wealth card is an offer on the table. So it says the bride offers herself. So I just see this as a favorable offer. We have an offer here, Ace of Pentacles. We have an offer here, a surprise offer, the Tower and the Knight of Cups. So this is kind of cool when we're looking at, for those of you, I'm going to start with those that have a day job and then we'll work it on the other two spectrums. If you have a 9-to-5 job or however many hours you work and you're not happy, excuse me, because there's not enough pay or respect or benefits, this card is saying, yeah, you're right. Go and look around. There are other offers waiting out there. So seek another offer. I always like to encourage people, if you get a better offer, ultimately, and they respect you and it's way better than what you have, if you have to counter to get what you need, always consider if you really want to take the counter because they didn't see your value to start with. So I feel like there could be a better opportunity, but it requires a little bit of legwork, a little bit of seeking. And as we hear the beeping truck in the background, it's kind of like a wake-up call for you to decide, is this what I want? Is this enough for me? Okay, so that's for those of you that are working. Some other things here. I feel like timing is important if you're working to get that request in, because there may be a lot of competition or a lot of similar requests. And this is like the final no. Cyclically, karmically, I mentioned that there's a karmic lesson. It's time for you to get enough. So if they say no one more time, you're going to find something else. So it's an encouragement to look beyond what you're doing. I always like to remind folks, have your nest egg or your safety net before you say no. So have the next job in the back pocket, possibly with a start date, and then say no and be willing to call your bluff. When I quit my job, I had enough money in the bank to support me for, depended on my budget, 1 to 2 years, depending on how I did things and if I started working, which I did immediately. But I knew I could take care of myself and that I would be okay for at least 12 months. So make sure now in this economy, I would say 15, 18, 24 months, make sure if you're going to quit that you have a good security blanket so that you can find the next thing. Better than quitting without the job is to have a job. So that's specifically for my friends that are already employed. Some of you might also be looking at training. I like it. It looks good. This could bring in new options and new opportunities, and it could help you break the glass ceiling. Some of you are in a place where there's a glass ceiling and the tower really indicates a place where you got to break out in order to break through. Now, for those of you that are students, change of major. This is what you're working on. This is your heart. Maybe some of you are looking at changing your major or finding a more creative application for your course of study if you just recently graduated. Maybe even getting an additional sort of certification on top of that. There's a change. You're balancing out and figuring what you want. I would also say for you, there could be too many things going on your schedule. So maybe one credit hour too many, or one class too many, and that's kind of leading to instability and a lack of ability to focus. Take care of yourself. For those that are retired, you may not be able to say yes to every invitation. It's important to have travel, friendship, and other connections. I want you to look at your finances and get those balanced out. There are a lot of ways to do things and be with people that may not require that expenditure. This month is really about getting control of your money. So paying the taxes, looking at your investments, not doing anything too quickly because we are in a very sort of unstable financial time right now where there's a lot of movement. So you want to be smart about not investing too much in one thing or taking too much out. Just sort of like, I guess, be a little more conservative about your approach in finances, but there's nothing to really be afraid of here. It's just figuring out what's worth it, all right? Because it feels like if you make smart choices here, you could throw 1 or 2 aces here and you get either the 6 or 7 of pentacles, which is a much more favorable version of the 5. And this is management. So it looks like you can manage and make more of what you've got. And that's what I'm getting for retired and also for students, really anybody, okay? All right. For the person who just made a comment there, please keep it positive. So if you expect negative things to come in your life, you're manifesting. Remember, one of the things that I talked about was the magician behind the curtain. So for people, I know, by the way, I don't give readings, but a long time ago, I used to give private readings. Sometimes I'd read for people who would say, I never meet anybody. Good things never happen. Money never comes my way. And I would say, stop it. That's the parrot stuff that needs to stop. So in a loving way, I'm calling out that energy and saying, don't say that. Good things are going to happen. Put a positive manifestation in your head instead. And that's my gift to you today. If you're feeling like it doesn't work, it's not going to happen, this is too good for me. Well, if you say it is, but if you shift it around and say, I'm ready for positive change, I'm worth this and more, then you're inviting, then you're magnetic. And that's what I want for all of you to be able to manifest in your life. Moving on to the next piece, love. This is going to hit all categories first, then I break it down. So romantic, platonic, friends, and family. So guess what? We've got the scales coming through here. Now I'm looking at this as a Libra. If we keep looking at like justice and now we've got the scales, it's a Libra, possibly for some of you. Okay. So this can also be a decision. Am I ready for this? So finding balance in your life, in your current relationship. So maybe making more time for love, making more time for your current relationship, making more time to be around the people that you enjoy, your friends, your family, etc. Finding work-life balance, possibly connecting with the Libra, making sure that you're getting enough and you're not accepting that category of being less. And changing the narrative, which is what we just talked about, and the power of that. By the way, be patient with yourself and be patient with the universe. If you've been projecting one narrative, it's kind of like a radio tower. It takes a while for those signals to go away and for the new signals to be picked up and for people to tune in and be like, oh, this was a change in format. I realize nobody listens to the radio anymore, but like a podcast, let's imagine like a podcast changed its name and the format shifts. Or a YouTube channel, you follow this YouTuber and all of a sudden they're doing a different thing. It takes a minute to wrap your head around their new format. So that's what's going on when you change it. It's not going to happen tomorrow, but if you keep projecting out there, it will eventually start to change. All right, now let's focus on 3 categories. We're going to look at those of you that are in a loving relationship, those that are looking for love, and those that are happily single. So if you're in a current relationship and want to know what's going on, let's take a look. So we're going to assume that everything's hunky-dory first. If things are going well, let's say it's just a great relationship, I'm going to read these 2 cards differently. There could be a positive change on the horizon. So you may not be married. You may just be in a long-term relationship and someone pops a question or wants to move in or wants to talk about relationship status. This is the status quo and it may not be enough for one side or the other. And so there's a discussion and it could be good. So that's one thing. The other thing is there could be a change on the horizon for one or both of you. Maybe you were hoping that something would work out and there was a surprise. Someone didn't get into the college of their choice. Someone didn't get into the job of their choice. Something's going on where there was a no in the environment and you're going to support each other through that. There could even be some legal things going on. So that's the positive thing. And then also both of you may be trying to deal with money and time and energy balancing. So you're trying to balance out the partner that's not balanced. You can only do so much. They have to choose, you have to choose as well. So balancing time, energy, and money, possibly deepening the relationship or saying, is this what we want? And it could go one way or another. That piece is what I want to focus on now. Those that are already in a relationship, maybe there are arguments or disagreements around the money. Maybe you want to put more investment of love and time and energy and start a family or do something else. And what we see here is that it's too much, too fast. It's not enough for one person. So for some of you, there are 3 narratives, but one of them is separation for those of you that are ready. You'll be fine. You can manage this, but that is just one narrative of 3. So one is time and energy. The other one is things getting more serious, and the other one is things kind of going in a different trajectory because I'm doing a general. I think for most of you, it is about money and time and energy. And for many of you, it's about the deepening of it. Are you ready to get more serious or are you not? Because when I looked at this earlier, it was, are you in or are you out? Both of these. So some of you just have to decide, is this who I want to be with or do I want to do something else? One deciding factor is, do I feel valued? Do you feel valued? If you do, then this is probably worth the investment. If you're single and looking, looks like there's a lot of energy going into work right now. So my first question would be, do you really have the time? And if you've had some difficulty, if you tried different avenues, this is looking in the wrong direction or a different direction. So get your money, get your school or work things sorted out first. Make sure that you're making enough time in your schedule. And this kind of boils down to what I saw in chat earlier, which is like, I'm not worth it, or things don't happen, or I'm not ready, or it's a can't, won't, never energy. And we want to pull that out if you're really wanting to attract. Find the balance, find the worth first, then you'll find the person. The person that you're pulling in could be a Queen of Wands energy, could be Libra, because those are the 2 prominent ones that I'm picking up on. There could also be water. Here's the interesting thing. The fact that we got 3 wildly different things also tells me when I'm looking at that ace and I ask you, what do you want? It's a matter of being more specific rather than thinking like, just send me a partner or a man or a woman or anyone, because, some of us have no preferences. It's just sort of like, okay, but be more specific and say, I'm ready for a partner that is financially independent, mentally, physically, and in all sort of shapes and forms, healthy and happy. and is ready and capable of connecting in a committed relationship and wants the same things that I want. Put some things like that out there and then say, I'm ready for this now. All of this or greater, so that you can also allow the universe to level you up when they help you find somebody. So manifest with more specificity when I get too many different types. That's one thing that I would say. If you are single and happy, I think it's a good time to be single and happy. There could be a move on the horizon. There's a lot of energy that's going into finding better balance in your life. And it feels like you're learning the power of saying no and saying what you want and speaking up. So this is just a great time to get work done, to get your finances in a good place, possibly to move. All of these things are a little easier without having another person sometimes. So I feel like good for you if you're doing that. And I do see advancements, especially with personal development. It's a great time to learn. Okay, let's move on to the Destiny card. I have Lord Ganesha in this space, and it is about empowerment, nicely connected even in color to the Queen of Wands. Power comes from within, not from a title in your life. So that's very interesting to think about because, a lot of times we look at public figures or royalty or people that have been born into a certain sort of family. That is just like luck on some level and choices out of the body. But the true power doesn't come if they have the title CEO or king or queen or president or prime minister or have a really, important last name. It's more from the sense of knowing who you are and being the boss. So you have boss energy independent of any of those other factors that I mentioned. So own your boss energy this month and do something amazing with it. So I love that we're focusing on solar plexus, which is birthing energy as well, creating and forging more important relationships with people that you care about. And in these relationships, we're basically stepping away from Five of Pentacles now. Now you know that you are bringing something really amazing to the equation. So Lord Ganesha is coming through saying, never underestimate your worth, never second guess your power, and never think just because someone says they're powerful that they are. Sometimes it's just basically them projecting out something that they want you to believe. Okay? Beautiful messages and important messages as well. Let's take this a step deeper and look at sun, rising, and moon. Okay, we're going to start off with Aries sun, pretty much most of you that are watching. So we have the Four of Cups, which can be a blessing in disguise, an opportunity that's knocking, but you may not be paying attention. It can also be comparing yourself to others and feeling bad. We mentioned, like all of those things that sometimes show popularity or power. They're not all they're cracked up to be. And if you constantly compare yourself with or against someone else, you don't know what their backstory is. So here we see like this mermaid in the background, and she's offering something to the kid in the front, and he's just focusing on only what he can see, not the magic, not the opportunity that's knocking. In the traditional card, it's the same thing. They're always a little grumpy or a little sad, the person in the Four of Cups, and it's normally because expectation gets in the way. And I think those three cups can also represent, the more I've read, gossip, other people and what they think or what you think people will think. And you kind of get yourself in a rabbit hole of these like different and unnecessary scenarios. Let's see if we got it. Here we go. So here's your traditional one. You can really see his sense of why me or why not me or why isn't this happening? And literally Rider-Waite-Smith ace floating in the air right beside him. So here we have the idea that you can actually make something better. This is magic to me because it's a mermaid. So there's a way. There's a way out. There's a better way. There's something that wants to come through. Open up your heart, open up your mind, look around. It could be right in front of you or right around you. And so I see a blessing coming. It's kind of interesting that we had cups and now we also have this. So this opportunity could be a friendship, a partnership, a love interest. It could also be someone that's offering or seeing your value, but you're kind of going in and there's either self-deprecation or what's the other thing when you kind of basically stop something before it starts, but that too, where you're just sort of like, I'm going to just basically end it before it even got a chance to begin because I don't want to be hurt. So we don't want any of those things. We want you to open up to receive all of this and then some, okay? All right, let's go ahead and move on to rising. In the rising, we have the powerful energy of the magician, which I talked about, the magician behind the curtains. The magician is reversed, but it's still the magician. And the magician can do anything that they put their mind to. When it's in reverse, one thing that it represents is focus. Focus on not having to do it all, not having to throw everything in front of someone or putting pasta on the wall. It's sort of saying, I'm gonna be very picky and very discerning, and this is where I'm gonna put my time, energy, etc. So focus is the key to connecting with your power, and then you're gonna start to, and again, not second guessing yourself. All of these things are important. But the magician can do anything that they put their mind to, and so can you. So focus this month and believe. Faith and focus. There we go. That's your mantra. I have faith in myself. I'm going to focus on what's important. And you're going to see progress when you do that. Moving on to Moon, we have a very auspicious card here with the Ten of Pentacles. This is where I see the biggest sort of improvement when it comes to networking, money, connections. This is also a card of marriage and contracts. All of you have the potential to sign a contract this month. You just have to negotiate it and make sure that it's enough, because this is good for the whole sign, not just for Moon. The offer here is not enough. You have the upper hand. Again, this usually there's a hand on the Ace of Pentacles, and the other person may have to decide. And if it's not good enough, say no. Because I do see, and we even saw it. Here, this offering here. There's got to be something better if you're not getting what you need. All right. So some beautiful messages across the board here. If we look at all three, we see a hidden opportunity for the sun, for rising, focus, and faith, and for the moon, a really great chance to sign a contract, start something new, possibly meet someone pivotal, and maybe even move into a new home, because this card can be one of relocation, and this can be well worth the work. Okay? So now we're going to get ready for the final portion of today's reading, and that's going to be a final card, but first we meditate. Right before we meditate, again, do me a favor, like and subscribe. We don't have a lot of folks here today, but if you can hit that like, there's a chance that some people will see this on replay. I think if I'm looking at my monitor, we only have a couple, like a handful, 2 or 3. So, oh no, 58, I see that. So let's try to get at least another 5 or 10 as we're getting ready for the meditation, and let's meditate together. All right. So as we meditate today, let's focus on what I can help you with the most. I really like Lord Ganesha, and I feel like this is going to empower you the most. So if you will, before you close your eyes, look at the color of this card. See the golden light. It's like the sun. We're going to focus on the solar plexus. And if it's a rainy day where you're at, like it is here in Los Angeles, let's bring the solar energy into our bodies. So closing your eyes, imagine that you are on the beginning of a new day. You're starting to, basically, let's see, I think the nice place to be would be a beach. So see yourself on a beach just a moment before sunset. You can start to see this beautiful glow of like light blue just on the horizon as the stars start to fade from view. And then as you take a deep breath, imagine that there's a pinpoint on the horizon where a tiny ray of light shows through. And as you breathe in, imagine that light comes all the way into your throat chakra, finds its way into the solar plexus, and that now the sun is starting to rise up and you're connecting. Every single chakra point is aligned with rays of light, especially now the solar plexus. With each breath that you take, imagine that the solar plexus starts to light up even more. And in a few deep breaths, you start to match the light of the sun on the horizon. Now let's just focus on the light within. If there's anything in your life that has created tension, discomfort, anger, fear, or any lower frequency emotion, I'd like you to imagine that you're starting to move beyond that now. See that the light is burning through these old emotions, old patterns, and it's leaving you with this sense of calm, of confidence, and you realize now that you're able to make a change. You're able to call things into your life. The sun is a magnet. It holds the whole solar system together. You are a magnet in your own life. Feel the power, the empowerment, and the opportunity, and just focus on your worth. In your head, your mantra is, I'm worth this, all of this and more. As the sun rises on the horizon, feel that warmth, that radiance, and that light continuing to shine in every single cell, every single thought, every single breath, and know that you are carrying that power, that light, and that possibility with you in every step that you take. I'd like you now to gently open your eyes on the next exhale. Turn your question and your focus rather towards the final question that you have for me, whatever that might be. And let's see what the cards have to show here. So focus on the final question, feeling this now newfound sense of power and possibility. And let's see what the universe has to say. We have a lovely Nine of Pentacles coming through for this. So the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. It's basically a reminder that you're self-sufficient, you're powerful, but you don't have to do it all alone. This is typically a fiercely independent card, sometimes to a fault. So when the card comes through reversed, it's saying slow down. If someone needs or wants to kind of step in and offer advice or help, consider it. It might be able to get you to the Ten of Pentacles, which we actually saw coming through for the moon sign. So I think everybody has the potential to tap into that. It might just be as simple as saying, sure, that sounds good, or yes, let's do this, or hey, I'm in over my head, could you help me out? This card typically has a little snail on it, which is a reminder to slow yourself down, to take it one step at a time, and to know that good things come to those who wait. Slow and steady is the way to success. All right, everybody, that brings us to a close for this monthly reading. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got what you needed out of it. A reminder for the person that asked earlier, all of the the May readings are already up. I'm doing June now. So if you missed it, go to the main channel. It's right there. I haven't sent out my newsletter yet. So if you go to my website and click on newsletter, it's usually on the, I think it's on social media, you can get to it. You can sign up, and I'm going to send that out on May 2nd, probably 2nd or 3rd. So still plenty of time to get the newsletter if you want to, and that'll also contain all the links for last month's readings as well. All right, everybody. Quick couple of reminders, and then we're going to wrap up. If you haven't already followed me on social media, please give me a follow. It's always at Nicholas Ashbaugh everywhere. Remember, I don't give private readings. I won't use messages or direct messages to reach out to you. Anybody that does that is an imposter. If you ever need to figure out my official social media, you can always go to my website or the About tab here on YouTube as well. I want to say thanks to all of those that gave back with a super sticker, super chat, or super thanks. In fact, I'm going to do it right now. So thank you so much to all of you that are, first of all, if it's your first time here, subscribe so you don't miss out. If you've been here for a long time, I saw someone saying that they've been with me since 2016. I started in 2015, so that's pretty long. Thank you. It's good to have you here all of these years later. Give me a couple moments here, and I'm going to say thanks to the newest members and anyone who gave back with a sticker or a membership today. So one moment here. So let's see. I don't think we had any new members this morning, and that's fine. Thank you to all the existing ones. I see that we have a nice collection of those in the room already. So I'm going to say instead thanks to anybody that gave a super sticker or super chat, and we'll wrap up. All right. Looks like we had a few, so thank you so much. So Kinga, Crystal, Denise, Jody, and Phoebe. Thank you guys so much for not only sharing some time, but also giving back a little bit. It means the world to me. And we had a nice room today and some really great messages. Also, thanks, I'm going to quickly say to Diana, Sapo, Laura, April, Diane, let's see if I missed anybody. I don't think I did. To all the members, whether you're showing up right now or you show up later, thanks to the existing members as well. I will be live again later this week on Thursday and Friday for the next 2 signs, Taurus and Gemini. I'm live every Sunday for the weekly collective. I do a daily card read every day as well. And it's good to have all of you here. All right, until I see you again, take care of yourselves and have a fantastic month and day ahead.